These are the top remaining NBA free agents. The first free agent left is Lonnie Walker IV. I am actually shocked that he is still a free agent because he actually played very well last season when he did play. Now, he did have an injury, so he missed some time. But when he played, he was on fire. He would come in and go on his own little scoring runs. So I don't know if Brooklyn offered him a contract. Maybe they did, and, he doesn't want to stay in Brooklyn. I'm not putting that out there. I don't know. But I'm saying I am still surprised that no team has gotten a deal done with him yet. He is definitely a valuable player. He is someone who, I think I said this in the last time I talked about him a few weeks ago when I was talking about NBA free agents. He's kind of like a younger version of Jordan Clarkson. They play a little bit differently, and obviously Lonnie Walker is a pretty explosive athlete. Like, he can jump, but at the same time, when I say Jordan Clarkson, I mean like him and Jordan Clarkson can both get 20 in like 5 minutes. And that kind of scoring is beneficial to every team in the league because every team in the league needs someone like that, because there's going to be a night where your best players can't get it going. And who will? Lonnie Walker IV. Number 2 is Tyus Jones. This is another player who I am shocked has not been signed by a team yet. He was with the Wizards last year, and of course, they did not have a very good season. So we can't really judge him, based on what happened last year, because it was definitely, not the best. But prior to that, he was one of the most important players on the Grizzlies. Of course, John Morant was number 1, and you talk about Jaren Jackson Jr. and Desmond Bane, but he was that steady voice, I guess if you want to say, that steady player off the bench. He never, ever would turn the ball over. That was one of the best things about him. Like, he would come in and not make mistakes. Now, you wouldn't see, for the most part, these like flashy highlights and some crazy risky passes that sometimes lead to turnovers, but also create some of the best highlights. But what Tyus Jones would do is make the right pass at the right time and not turn the ball over. So you would know that you are getting a shot up on every possession that he's in the game. And that is something that is also super valuable to every team in the league, because turnovers can be a problem for everybody. So if you have a player on your team like him, who's not like, he's going to be a facilitator. He doesn't have to be a scorer. He just wants to get other players involved. And like I said, won't turn the ball over. Just making sure you get a shot up on every possession is something every single team could need. So I am shocked that he is still available. So some team better pick him up soon. Number 3 is Isaac Okoro. Now, unlike the other players, he is a restricted free agent. So the Cavs, I think, will end up re-signing him in the end. I'm just assuming that he is holding out, hoping to get more money than what the Cavs are or will be offering him. With the money kind of, getting spent other places, I'm not sure he's going to get the money that he's looking for just because there isn't much left. So I do expect him to eventually be back with the Cavs, but I am a little surprised it is taking this long. But of course he has to be on the list because he is one of the best remaining free agents. I mean, he took a really big step up this season. He's a very, very good defender. And just like the other 2 players, he has value that could be added to every team in the league. So I do expect him to be with the Cavs, like I said, but other teams should take a look and see if they can steal him away. Number 4 is Dennis Smith Jr. He is somebody else who we know is very athletic, can dunk on basically anybody. He also is very fast, so watch out. But I'm just still surprised that he is a free agent. Similar to everybody else on this list, I don't know what offers, if any, he has gotten yet, but I am surprised that a deal has not gotten done because he could definitely add value to a bunch of teams. I understand he's been bounced around a little bit. Obviously, he had very high ceiling coming out of the draft, and it didn't work out the way, he and they wanted it to in Dallas. But I feel like he could definitely find a home somewhere, and he could definitely be a contributing player on a team. I mean, look at Lauri Markkanen. I always use him as an example, but he's like one of the best examples because he was someone who, when he was a rookie in Chicago, had very high, projections, especially how his rookie season went. And then after that, his sophomore season wasn't as good. And, his projections and his, people talking about him just went down. Like, people did not expect him to be an all-star. He goes to Utah, and now he is a player that every team is trying to trade for. So I say all that to say, Dennis Smith Jr. was a lottery pick. And he wasn't a lottery pick for no reason. He definitely has the talent. So I would say a team really needs to take a chance on him, even though, again, he's been in the league. It's not like he's out of the league. But I feel like he could really contribute to a team if he's put in the right position. And the last free agent I want to talk about is Jordan Nwora. I remember when Jordan Nwora was on the Bucks. It wasn't like so long ago, but like I remember watching him when he would get minutes, and I would think to myself, this guy has a lot of potential. When he would get in the game, I felt like he had a big impact. Now, of course, his skill set was still developing. He was young, and he hadn't had much playing time. But I felt like every time he got in the game, he was doing good things that contributed to winning. And since leaving the Bucks, he hasn't had a consistent role in the rotation. I believe he was on Indiana after the Bucks. And then obviously most recently he was on the Raptors. And he has played everywhere he has went. Like for the Raptors he played. But at the same time, I feel like similar to Dennis Smith Jr., he needs to be on a team where he has a consistent role, and then people will see his value. And you may be watching this video thinking, why is she emphasizing so much about players who probably aren't going to be in the starting lineup, right? But here's the thing, and I've talked about this before in videos where I talk about free agents who are coming off the bench or whatever. These type of players, a Jordan Nwora, a Lonnie Walker IV, they matter when it comes to winning championships. You don't win championships without guys like them on the bench. These players may not get a huge role. Like they may not have huge minutes, 30 minutes a game. They may not get a huge contract. But again, these type of players are who you need on a roster to win a championship, because there are going to be nights where you're going to have to rely on your bench. And you need players like a Lonnie Walker who can come in and give you 20, even though he's not a starter. That's going to matter at some point. And so I emphasize these players being signed so much because, yes, we know if you don't have some of the best players in the league on your team, a top 5 player in the league, top 10 player, you're not going to win a championship, no matter how many players, you sign in free agency. But we all know the value of a top 5 player. We all know that, and that's why they're always signed. They're never a free agent, or they're never staying a free agent for a while. But these type of players who have been free agents for a little bit of a while could end up changing NBA history in a way. I mean, I'm being a little dramatic with that statement, but I'm just trying to get my point across, because Jrue Holiday is an example that I used previously. Now, Jrue Holiday is an All-NBA defender and obviously an All-Star. Like, he's not coming off the bench. But without the Celtics getting him, I don't think they win the championship. He was that important to the team. And so again, these players may not have the big role that Jrue Holiday had, but their 10 points off the bench in that Game 2 Western Conference semifinals playoff game may change the entire series, help their team win, and then they go on to win the championship. I'm just saying, like, these are things that matter.